All right, it's 3:31 and we will begin the special meeting. And um, sorry, just give me one moment here. Um, as noticed, the purpose of the special meeting is to hold a work session to discuss recent developments in the Point Roberts broadband project and to consider next steps. We will also have an executive session to evaluate qualifications of an applicant for public employment for the general manager position. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Yeah, seconded.
All in favor? Aye.
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 So, perhaps we should start with a report update recap from staff. I'd really like to hear from Andrew in particular on this.
Andrew, you want to give us an update?
Sure, I don't have much more of an update than what was previously discussed at the commission meeting, other than we're at a place where it's challenging to, from staff to have this conversation with the commission about the direction of the project overall. But yeah, I still haven't been able to come up with, alternative solutions to provide you today that could maybe resurrect the program, just because I think with what we're experiencing and the challenges that we discussed at the commission meeting, the feasibility of continuing the project is just not there any longer. So I had sent you some documents ahead of this meeting. Just it wasn't really a full, from beginning to end recap of how we started and where we are today, but kind of gave you kind of some highlights of what we've encountered over the years and over the most recent months. But as of right now, I think all things considered, I think the best thing for this right now is to, think about what do we need to do to, essentially shut the project down and work with Commerce to that end. I may have missed some things in there, Chris, and I'll kick it over to Chris now.
No, that's a good recap. It's that is staff's recommendation at this point, and it's what kind of strategy do we want to have about rolling the information out, and who do we want to talk to, and when do we want to do it? So I'll just get back to the commission, whatever you guys want.
Okay, who'd like to start? Um, I'm presuming Atul, you probably came with some things to say. Jamie, would you like to respond?
I mean, I think I said kind of how I'm feeling at the last meeting. It was I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys wanted to have a discussion about whether or not it could be resurrected in any way. I was feeling like they've pretty much told us that that's not going to happen, so that it can't happen, not that we don't want it to happen. So yeah, go ahead and say what you want. We'll see.
So I can go ahead. So after our meeting, it was on Tuesday, I reached out to staff at the Lummi Nation. And I appreciate it also. I reviewed the email that Andrew sent. Thanks for that summary. There's some other information that, depending on what commission decides to do today, might be helpful to compile. But that was very helpful, Andrew. They ended up in primary contact with is someone that, Andrew, you've met, Keeley, who works for Lummi Broadband Utility.
Okay. Yes.
She came to our open house.
Mm-hmm.
So she said that she spoke with a couple of Lummi Nation council members and one of our attorneys familiar with the issue. It's been flagged up the chain, and the chairman is currently reviewing it with their head attorney, the situation, as well as our cultural director, as well as our THPO representative for review. I don't know who the THPO representative is. Do you have any idea on that?
No.
Yeah, I'm planning a follow-up call after this meeting. Obviously, she said it's not my call, but I did try to highlight the reasons that I think that assisting the PUD with moving the project forward could be a good idea. And I wanted to reconnect, but obviously there's some sensitivity here. I'm a commissioner, and so I want to get direction from commission for our organization on how to follow up with this. But there appears to be interest in supporting us. And I'd like to continue exploring that first because it's in a very delicate situation. And I'd like to go back and meet with folks at the Lummi Nation to see what that would look like, including a potential collaboration on the Point Roberts project. But before we do that, Eddie, do you have any new information?
No, but that's, yeah, very much. I think that's great that you connected with them, and yeah, we'll try, like, well,
So what I
did
mean,
you have more to report?
okay, knowing that you don't have anything more to report, based on going off of this interaction that I've had, I'd like the support of the commission to go back and meet with people next week. Obviously a day I'll work with schedules. If I can have staff at the PUD available to support that meeting, that would be great, to explore pathways for collaboration on Point Roberts.
I have lots of questions, Atul. And you know, for staff. So who were the decision makers in the first place at Lummi?
Andrew, do you remember who was in that consultation with DAP?
Oh, I know Eddie had asked me after the meeting and I had to look it up. I don't know off the top of my head the names. One of them had retired, is no longer with the tribe in that capacity from that consultation. And there's one other gal who we have been working with. If you give me a minute here, I can probably find that out.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess I'd like to know, you know, who the decision makers were and who the decision makers can be. I know that the person that you talk to, Atul, like that works on Lummi broadband, I think she probably told you that she's not a decision maker for it, or how much sort of, you said that they've flagged it and ran, like, what does that look like? I can't see your face. I can just see the top of your head.
Me?
Yeah, there you go. Oh, it's a whole human.
So
Tamala Smart. Yeah, it's Tamala who we met with.
Who?
Tamala?
could you send us that information?
Sure.
I mean, let's just okay. What I'm suggesting is a follow-up meeting next week, to be determined. When obviously based on schedules and availability. With the purpose of exploring what collaboration might look like. That's all I'm talking about.
And by collaboration, you mean just having their assistance in assistance in moving this project forward as is, or you mean going back to the drawing board?
So one of the things, potentially both, both, both. As far as going back to drawing board, there's a time deadline, but one of the things that this particular round of funding treated tribal funding differently than it treated non-tribal funding. And one of the ways it treated tribal funding differently is if and please help me on this, Chris, Andrew, on this, but I believe that their deadlines weren't the same.
I really don't know. I only paid attention to ours.
Okay. Well, certainly, Jamie, if their deadlines are not the same, that could be a way out of
The pinch. Yeah.
out of our pinch.
I mean, I don't mind, obviously, I wouldn't mind exploring that. Like if staff has capacity, it's sort of a quick turnaround on information.
And so they're willing to schedule a meeting, or we're sort of waiting to hear if they're willing to schedule a meeting.
No, they're for sure willing to. They're willing to meet and talk more about it, but the timing and all that is obviously up in the air. So what I plan to do is on Monday morning, with the support of the commission, I'll get this meeting scheduled in a way that works with our staff and works for me, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then produce an email out of that meeting. And then as a commission, we can decide whether we need to do another special meeting, or it can wait till the next, regular meeting or whatever.
Yeah, I'd support that. Do we have?
I do, and I'm nervous, Atul. I don't want to offend them by being like, hey, can we just fast track a process that is intended to keep your land safe? Do you know what I mean? Do you see what I'm saying? I don't want to be like, hey, we like you, you like us. Can we make an exception for this policy that exists? Do you know? I know that you're sensitive to that as well. I'm not saying that you would go in there and do something offensive. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't want to offend by trying to
really what I'm looking for the commission for is, number one, to not close the project. No, and number two is give me a per diem.
I see. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
pretty low ask.
Yeah, and then we revisit.
Commission to let me speak on behalf of the organization on issues.
Part is I want to know what you're. So that's the hard part. Is if you're speaking on behalf of the organization, I want to make sure that the messaging is not offensive.
Yeah,
that we're all
right on. Can I rehearse what my message will be?
Sure.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so my messaging will be the commission and the entire organization very much wants to see this Point Roberts project succeed in a way that works for everybody. And we've exhausted all reasonable pathways for figuring that out. This is to some degree a last-ditch effort to figure out if there is, by talking to the Lummi Nation, if there's a way that you all might see we can pull this project off in a way that's appropriate, that we haven't seen. Because otherwise we're gonna have to pull the plug on it.
Right. I mean, I guess it really, it doesn't hurt to ask, right? It doesn't hurt to have a conversation, as long as we, are in agreement that we tread carefully. Because I also don't want them to feel like we're saying they're the ones who killed this project, that
in my language.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Yeah, and I think being absolutely fully respectful to the terms they lay out and have laid out. From what I've heard, it seems like there's there could be a chance that some of the rules in place and requirements that we have might, like as in doing, 500, like a survey within 500 feet of every anchor staked into the ground, like basically just finding out if that's like if that's even if that's a hard line, like if that's a hard line, or is there something that could be worked out that could um or speed up the process for the archaeological survey to be, and not wait until
I just want to be
the study
clear.
is complete.
Luckily, Keely is involved because as a staff person, she understands a lot of what you're talking about. And of course, Andrew does on our end. I'm not going to get involved in the technicalities of a solution.
Hmm.
That's, I'm not asking anybody's permission to do that. And it's not something I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out if there's a framework where it's possible to give this one more shot. That's all.
Exactly. Yeah, right. Like taking it, like, yeah, just directly addressing the situation and finding out if there's, yeah, if there's any, yeah, if there's any more options. But I do want to hear staff's reaction to this proposal.
I'd just be curious to hear what the Lummi have to say.
Me too.
Yeah. Me too.
Um, right, because I mean, okay, you talked about the funding, like possibility of like a way around our funding deadline. Like, do you anticipate that might be something discussed or
For sure.
and okay. And so your role is going to be you'll lead the engagement on behalf of PD Commission and
And
then
and the whole organization, but I will not be problem solving, if you know what I'm saying.
You're asking questions. I think that's appropriate.
asking questions. Yeah, not like making a proposal.
Yeah, and I will not be solving the problem. Just
Right.
want to be clear. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And then we would maybe find out if there's some options to be considered.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you all have to understand that trained as an engineer, this could be torture for me, but I will honor my role. I will not problem solve. Chris.
Thank you for your restraint.
So given Andrew's gone through consultation and all of that. I mean, Andrew, what's your sense on this on having this meeting?
Yeah, I echo Chris's comment. I think I'd like to hear what they have to say, what the tribe has to say as well. I guess there's other considerations that go into my head, which is that the success of the overall project is not entirely in any kind of result that would come out of that meeting in particular. Like, we have our project partner, for example, the third party ISP. They have a whole slew of things that that they basically need to do to keep on time with this project as well. And
Yeah.
we're already beyond that timeline. In fact, I think we're, at any day they could walk away from us, and then we don't have a partner, I guess is what I'm worried about. And there's many other things that we had talked about at the last meeting, and then some others that, everything's hindering, all things are, it's not just the result of what comes out of the conversation with the tribe. It's if we were to actually move forward, we would then need to engage with PSC, and we know that timeline, and we would need to engage with the third party ISP, and they're on a tight timeline for what they need to do. So
Yeah, I think we need a relief of time. That's probably the most valuable thing, that if there's a way to relieve the time constraint, that would be the best one of the best things. Yeah. Yeah. Through a partnership. So
Right.
Well, I think you're getting a head nod from everybody, Atul, that if you can, work out a time to have a meeting, that'd be great. We're all kind of interested and what they have to say. What kind of plans they could help make. Yeah.
I also like to say that it's a little bit, I mean, why we called a special meeting, and of course we have something else to get to in a minute. And then we should get to it. But why we call it a special meeting is because the whole organization, I'm not just speaking for the commission in this meeting. I know we all share a real passion to make this project work. And so we decided to have this meeting, and I'm glad to report I got some good responses this week. I want to follow up on that. If it doesn't mature into something helpful, that's okay too. That's okay too.
Yeah.
Last, I think, Jamie, what you're saying is let's not do anything to hurt relationships or deny reality. Yeah. And I totally hear you on that.
Yeah, you heard me right. All I worry about is that they know that their concerns are concerns that we share as well. You know, that we don't want to be disrespectful of the process either, that we're just wondering, you know, what if they envision a way forward for that. Yeah. And also I don't want them to think that like we think that, you know, they're the problem with this project, because that's simply not true. There's been problems with this project from the get-go, you know, with deadlines and jumping through hoops and all sorts of things.
And, you know, I mean, obviously we inherited some history from project partners as well as vendors.
Absolutely.
That unfortunately, you know, we're suffering from. So.
Well, Commissioner, it sounds like you've got the green light to go ahead.
Yeah, I do. I'll obviously check back with you, Chris, on Monday. You know, making sure report on parameters and all that stuff. And some kind of a regulator on problem solving I can install in my brain.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I hope you can, I hope you can get that scheduled promptly, and look forward to hearing what we learn. And yeah, I totally agree with, again, everything Jamie said. I think we all, are on the same note here that there's just, you know, the challenges with this project are a combination of so many things, and there's no finger pointing, there's no blaming of any party, whether it's, you know, PSE or WISBO or anybody else, like, I mean, or our staff, like, I mean, it just hasn't worked, and it's just recognizing and naming that that's where we're at and looking to figure out if there's still a way before we call it off. Recognizing just like all the years of hard work that's gone into this. It absolutely, it's just worth having some more conversations, and also recognizing, we don't want to, we can't put it off. We're moving. So, because it would be till everyone's waiting to hear. So, just hopefully that can happen soon. And, but otherwise, as I understand it, right, PSE's ready to go to start their anchor study as soon as we give the go ahead, and Whitby-Tell's ready, and everyone's just waiting to hear.
Yeah. Let's just wait to hear what the tribe has to say next week.
Okay. In that case, are we ready to move on, or any other things to add?
I've got nothing else.
Oh.
Nothing further from staff.
No, I don't have anything else.
Oh, you said you don't have anything else? Okay.
So we should leave the meeting, Chair, and then go into the executive session?
Yep. Okay, we will be moving into an executive session for evaluating qualifications of an applicant for public employment for the general manager position pursuant to RCW 423110 1G. And do we have to switch into a different Zoom for this? Or
Yeah, we need to log out and then log back in on the other Zoom.
Yes, and I can see you to add you into the other meeting, but I can't hear you. So when you're done in the executive session Zoom, you have to leave that one and come back to this one to adjourn the meeting.
Oh,
And again, I cannot hear you on the other meeting, but I can see you to let you into it.
Okay.
okay.
Okay, so,
Okay, thanks, Mike, and I'll let you know when we're switching back.
And the estimated time,
oh, yeah, I was gonna get to that. Should we say 4:25? What do y'all think?
4:30.
4:30?
Well, I don't know. We should ask Peter.
We can leave early, but right? Can't we leave early?
yeah, someone should stick around and close it down, but yeah, you can leave early. So it's always that judgment call. Leave early, someone sticks around, or you extend.
Okay.
Okay, so we will resume the public meeting estimated at 4:30 p.m. or sooner, potentially. Okay. Um, then let's
Yeah,
does that
4:30.
just say 4. Okay, yeah, at 4:30, right? Yeah. Okay.
All right, goodbye.
All right. Yeah. We return to the public meeting, concluding our executive session, evaluating qualifications of applicant for public employment as general manager. And, oh, wait, are Jamie and Atul here? Do I need to wait for them?
They're being promoted.
Oh, you're muted, Peter.
You're okay having announced that. I would go ahead and once you see the other two commissioners adjourn the meeting. No action taken.
Okay, yeah, no action was taken. Yeah, is there anything else we'd like to discuss for the good of the order, possibly scheduling or anything else?
No, I'm
Not
good.
for me. Oh, cat. Let's talk about the cat.
Let's talk about the cat. Say hi, Meg.
Well, I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. And we are adjourning at 4:33 p.m.